Hey folks, my name is Nicole Telkish. I am the director and founder of the Wildflower School of Botanical Medicine, and welcome to another edition of Materia Medica Mondays, where we explore different virtues of medicinal and edible allies. And this week we are going to focus on Taraxacum officinale, or dandelion. So it's a well-known medicinal and edible weed with all sorts of virtues that we can connect with. So I like to always explore not just what we use it for, but how we can form relationship with it in many different ways. So we're gonna look at it from all sorts of angles, and specifically let's take a look at what it looks like first. So one of the things I want you to remember is that it's a solitary inflorescence. What does that mean? That means that as you look at these flowers, you're going to see that the flower head is on a single stalk. So there's never going to be like multiple flowers on one stalk. There's always going to, well, actually there's never going to be multiple flower heads on one stalk, but this is actually a trickster plant family, which we won't get into right now, but you can always study it later. So this is a one inflorescence, or one solitary flower head per stalk, as you can see, and it comes directly from the ground. And the leaves are the same way. So if you look at the leaves, you'll see that each of its toothed leaves comes directly from the ground, and it actually forms a circle around the base of all of the solitary inflorescent stalks. And so it forms this circular base where the leaves are coming directly from the ground. So this is a low growing, they only grow about a foot and a half in height, and sometimes a little bigger, but in general this is something you'll find in lawns, and it's pretty much found around the world now, and it's used in all sorts of different cultures, both as food and medicine. So I have found that it is also something that kind of brings light to dark places. So this is something in the spring that pops up with the sun, and as soon as the sun comes out, you get all in the early spring, all sorts of yellow flowers popping out with that sun. So it's kind of like a harbinger of spring. So definitely something that when you see it, spring is coming or spring is here. And it kind of dies back by the time early spring is over. So it will go to seed. So some of the seeds, and I'll get one of the seeds for you here. So this is the well-known seed head that we can go ahead and blow. And this is one thing they say, is that if you blow the seed head everywhere, it's blowing your wishes. So I'm going to wish all of you that are watching this health. And now it's everywhere on me. I don't care. I get seeds all over me. And anyway, so this is something that is used as both food and medicine, and also can be grown easily, but you don't even have to grow it. As long as you keep your lawn free of pesticides and poisons, then you can eat this directly from the ground. And so you can gather the leaves, you can also gather the flowers. The flowers are used in fritters, so you can make like cornmeal fritters. I just had some yesterday, somebody cooked, and you just take the bases off because they're a little bit more bitter, and then you can eat these yellow flowers in cornmeal fritters and fry them up. And what isn't good fried, right? So that's a really yummy little use. And then the leaves you can use in eggs. Like sometimes I'll cook up my eggs with some dandelion greens in them, or I just put out a recipe on my newsletter where you can take poblano peppers and parsley and dandelion greens and make like a spicy green sauce that you can pour onto things, and of course garlic and salt and pepper. But these greens become a big part of that, and that's because these are called nutritive plants. These plants are extremely nutritive, so they're kind of like superfoods. They have lots of micronutrients in them, lots of minerals, really good for your body. So it's also known as a good spring tonic for you to kind of get the juices going, because these are bitter. So if you put them in your food, know that they will taste bitter, and that's part of how they work, is by their bitter action. So bitters are carminative, so that means that that's going to help with any kind of gas that's in the body, to expel the gas better. That doesn't mean you're not going to fart or poop, not going to fart or burp. It means that it will kind of create more excretion, so you might find yourself with a little bit more excretory passage if you were to eat these greens. So that's good for constipation or any kind of gas and bloating. It will help get things out, but it's also really nutritive. So this is like a little superfood to put into everything. So whether it's soups or stews or stir fries or eggs or anything, you can use that. Another thing I did with these this year was I felt like it was a good year to make a bunch of wine. So I made dandelion flower wine, and I'm excited to try that out. It comes out a very nice dry wine, and it's very strong, so know that. But these are really fun to just use in so many different ways, and get to know and enjoy that they're taking over the lawn or taking over a wild space, and get to know how they're used. So they bring sunlight in, and they also kind of bring sunlight into your internal excretory organs like liver, kidneys, things like that. So when you drink the root, so you can dig these up, they have a long tap root, and the root can be used in teas, just like the leaves, or they can be used in a tincture. So the root is often gathered and made into a tincture for helping to create a more of a excretory flow. So we call it an alterative. So it helps you to poop better and pee better, because the inulin in the root actually helps to balance blood sugar as well. So if you have any kind of hormones that the body is holding on to, this is going to be a plant that just helps flush everything through the system. Also, I like to use it if people seem to have some sort of chronic skin ailment like rashes or acne. This will be one of the first things that I gravitate to. So you would gather the root, and you can dry it, chop it up and dry it, and make teas, like a decoction out of it, where you would simmer the plant material for about 20 minutes. Also, you can roast the root, and it's so delicious. Roasted dandelion root, oh my gosh. Wonderful way to get a really savory, dark, flavored tea that's just delicious. So dandelion root tea is another thing to explore, and make sure if you ever gather these that you really are gathering the right plant. There's a lot of plants that look very similar to dandelion. I don't really generally suggest that beginners would go out and just start digging plants unless they 100% know how to identify the plant and that it's a proper harvesting thing. So get some more training before you just go digging plants. But if you are comfortable with it, maybe it's in your garden and you need to get rid of it, then this is a really good plant to experiment with and get to know and eat and love and blow the seeds around and make more of them. And it's kind of become a symbol of the herbal resistance in some ways. So this is a big one for people to celebrate. And it's a perennial, so it'll die back, and it has that tap root, so it'll keep coming back year after year. It's really hard to get rid of them, and that's why we think of them as part of the herbal resistance. So with that, thank you for joining me, and you can always come back every week for more information on the plants and their uses and virtues, and you can get more information from wildflowerherbschool.com. Thanks a lot, y'all.